Hey, welcome back to LSTV. I am Lance Sisney. This is VR Chat. We're coming at you from the meta today. I'm trying something a little bit different. What about this? I kind of like the other one better, but you see how they kind of go together now that we'll be talking about weird stuff, but we might not get all into that today. I thought maybe we just talk about more fun stuff. As things are coming back together. We got a lot of concerts and stuff coming back again. I guess these artists, need to start touring again. They realize, it's hard when you're not making any money, like a lot of people know. There I go talking about stuff again. Sorry about that. I always got this stuff in my mind, but I think I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. You know what I mean? We could do anything. It's a whole new world in front of us. But there's a couple other games I'd like to show you. Maybe this will be like my product review episode because we just got this thing, so we started playing with it. Last time I was on the other game, it was a little too intense. People kept on wanting to come in and shoot at you, and here I just want to talk to you. But you know, probably could talk a lot about what's going on right now, but I don't think it's anything worth discussing right now. We don't have any facts to go over, and the facts that aren't coming out. Facts that are coming out really aren't worth, kind of saying "I told you so" or getting all worked up about it because it's nothing really changed. It's just I think we can all breathe a little bit, take a relax, take a pill. Everything seems to be, you know, less severe in some ways, but in other ways, we are back where we started. Not a whole lot's changed. Still got, corruption in the White House. Still got, you know, elections we can't necessarily 100% guarantee. I say the only way we could ever trust voting is if there was an easily and recognizable auditing system that backed it up, that you could go back and check your vote from years past. And I know all this involves registration and record keeping and who's going to, do that and who's going to get the money for it and when does that not become corruption system when you start getting money and people paid involved. But, you know, maybe it has to be like one of those public services, like you get out of high school, you don't have to serve in the military, but you got to serve elections for 4 years or something. Or there's got to be some sort of accountability that all of us have to it because if we don't, if it doesn't affect us personally, yeah, why would we care? We're just gonna continue to go along with what we think is the right thing, that they're telling us is the right thing, but they're telling us is the problem that I have a problem with this because why do I want to believe that they have my best interest in mind when I know for a fact they have their own best interest in mind? I mean, if you really think about it, why wouldn't they have their own best interest in mind? I mean, they're the same as us. They got bills to make, but most of them have a much higher price tag on their bills than a lot of us regular folks do. Excluding the ones of us that don't have robot arms and probably are magical mythical creatures. Other than that. But seriously, I think we've had enough fun with these costumes. I think it's time to well, I think it's time to go fishing. This, my friends, is a little game we call bait. But I got a whole lot of problems with the frontline battle reporting as it's going on right now because our troops rarely get the full story of what's happening. So why do the public think they're privileged to any better information? I think our troops should actually be more informed. And we got some people out there, seem like they're a little bit informed. But namely when it comes to hypocrisy and misinformation, I want to talk about what we got, at least what some people would want to call right-wing news outlets because of the style of reporting being done, but what most honest journalists and judgmental people would understand is a non-biased organization, Al Jazeera, reporting about the uh, neo-Nazi portion of the Ukrainian army. And I'm pretty sure if we, delve deeply into the turmoil that exists in the country of Ukraine, that there's a large portion of the population probably that is feeling terrorized by these uh, battalions, or the battalion that they call the neo-Nazi. I think it's Azov or Azov. I'm not looking at it right now. That's why I can't pronounce it right. But I assure you, I'm presenting the clip because I've edited it and it should be up there right now. If we're to discuss the incursion of Russia into Ukraine, we have to take a little bit different look at it, I think. And so the problem I have with it is, this outlet is reporting that Russia claims to be invading Ukraine because of the neo-Nazi forces that are a anti they're like a, rebellious faction. They're like the punk rock bikers of the Ukrainian population, and they're the ones that are doing all the hits and the attacks on the Russian border that are causing them to feel threatened by their security, which then you would have to tie them to NATO, because Russia also claims that it's being threatened by the NATO expansion that is threatening to put nuclear arsenal on Ukraine's border, which Russia has its own right to protect itself against as a sovereign nation. Russia has an absolute right in the world's eyes to protect itself against nuclear threat. But if we tie those two things together and we take into account what has been advertised in America as what equates to what we are calling the neo-Nazis today in America, are the free speech advocates and those who would speak out against the censorship of the government. These people, the anti-abortionists, these people are being labeled as the neo-Nazis in America. So where the media goes, where the money follows and the advertising goes, is where you have to look. After the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act of 2012, that lifted the liability waiver for advertisers to sell their advertising to whoever, and that means money can come from whoever. And they did this in response to Google and Facebook and all the other tech giants getting the majority of the advertising revenue from the major broadcasting companies, the cable companies and the broadcasters. So um we've had story after story after story. I was in 2012. Now, just think about how the spin of the media has occurred since 2012. There was a stock market crash prior to that, revolving into more wars in Afghanistan that, good for the economy, I guess, and then uh, hyper into anti-terrorism, school shootings, terrorist attacks, um, then justice against a police abuse of their own excessive use of authority, and um, then lies about Russia being involved in American elections, and this is all being proven now. All these things are coming out. What was once a myth or a conspiracy is now just becoming evident after discovery. And yet the people at the time who were speaking the truth, who were saying that this is fraud, that we were being taken for a ride, were being dragged through the mud, some of them being jailed in prison for speaking the truth at the time. So it's just it's just a shame that in the world of today, and as an American citizen, you cannot stand up and say that you believe your elections are unfair, because that makes you a right-wing neo-Nazi sympathizer. And yet in Russia, their president, he is accused by the United States government of stealing his elections by using disinformation and KGB tactics and bribing officials and using electronic voter fraud to it's still his election, but it can't happen in America. No, no, they don't even talk about that now. You realize they stopped talking about the election a long time ago. This is old news. It's old news. You can't talk about it anymore. It's old news. You're a Donald Trump supporter if you talk about that now. You're just one of those right-wing neo-Nazi supporters if you talk about the election anymore. But however, they were saying that that is how Vladimir Putin got into office in his elections. So what? They're not able to do it? Is it just, I mean, are the Russians just better at it than us? I mean, are they physically superior and mentally superior so that he can rig his elections, but we can't?